Okay, we're going to look at this geometric series, and here it is. It goes 8x squared, it goes 4x cubed, it goes 2x to the fourth power. And they ask us to find the nth term of the series. Well, there's a formula that says Tn equals a times r to the n minus 1. So we can at least get the first part of it right away just by figuring out a. Well, that's easy. The first term is 8x squared. We can look at this and see as we're multiplying by something, a common ratio. Well, x is turning into x squared. We must be multiplying by x. It's going from 8 to 4 to 2. We must be multiplying by a half or dividing by 2. Well, that means r is x over 2. You could go 4x cubed divided by 8x squared, and you'll get x over 2. Well, that's your answer right there. That is the nth term of the series. But they would like you to put it into form of x to a power and a number to some power. That's kind of the form. They didn't ask for it, but they would like it in that way. Well, it's a little bit tricky doing that. Let's see what we do first here. They've actually, here's the memo. They just show 4 steps, but there's a lot of thinking that kind of goes into it. Well, they split up the 8 and the x, so 8 and x squares like that. This is 1 over 2. It's put to the n minus 1 power. And the x is also to the n minus 1 power. You can split it up like that into a half to the n minus 1, x to the n minus 1. Now you can see x squared times x to the minus 1 is just x to the 1. X to the n. Okay, well that's that part. Now we've got 1/2. Oh, this 1/2 to the n we can write down as 1/2 to the n like that. But this part here, 1/2 to the minus 1, 1/2 to the minus 1 is actually the same as 2. When you put something to a negative power and it's a fraction, you turn it upside down. And 2 times 6, that gives you the 6. 2 times 8, that gives you the 16. So this 1/2 to the minus 1 is really equal to 2 times 8 is 16. Okay, here's another way of looking at this here, just here. Well, this x, you could put with this here and just call it 16x, I guess, like that. You could write it like that. I think I would leave it like this. Now, this half is really 2 to the minus 1. This 16 is really 2 to the 4. Well, that's really 2 to the 4 minus n. Well, there we go. We've got, I wouldn't break it up like this. I'd go straight from here down to here. This is x to the n plus 1. That's what we've got here. So x to the n times x to the 1 is x to the n plus 1. This is 2 to the 4th, 2 to the minus 1 power. That's what 1/2 is to the nth power. That gives you 2 to the minus n here. 4 minus n. 2 to the 4 minus n. That's tricky exponent stuff. You have to look at it kind of really closely when you look at the memo. Go over it yourself. The next question is really easy. They say, for what values does it converge? Well, if they say the word converge, you go r is less than 1 or greater than minus 1. That's the conditions. And r is x over 2. So instead of r, you put in x over 2. Multiply everything by 2, and there's your answer. When x is less than 2, but greater than minus 2, those are the conditions for convergence. Now, what's the sum to infinity? Well, you've got this formula, a over 1 minus r. So you just put in 8x squared for a, x over 2 for r, and that's your answer. That is your answer. But they say, well, that's the sum to infinity. But what if x equals 3 halves? Well, just take 3 halves and put it in for x. 3 halves times divided by 2 or times 1/2. Put it in your calculator, and you get 72. That's your answer, 72. Well, that's the last 2 questions are pretty straightforward, just using the formula and the condition for convergence. R is less than 1 and greater than 1. The first one is a tricky exponent thing, but easy to get the first part of it. A and R to the n minus 1. I'm not sure why this doesn't answer the question right here, just about. But I guess it's not very nice. You want the numbers and the x's separated, so that's what they'd be expecting. Okay, I hope that helps. I hope it helps. Okay.